Hey, welcome back, and thank you so much for joining me in today's video because the National Association of Realtors just posted on Thursday that pending home sales, a measure of contracts being signed between buyers and sellers of existing houses, decreased to an all-time record low for data that goes back to 2001. Therefore, the level of contracts being signed right now is actually worse than the Great Recession. I have a lot to share in today's video, so let's go ahead and dive right in. So this is posted on November 30th here from NAR. It says pending home sales decreased by 1.5% in October. The Northeast posted a monthly gain in transactions compared to the previous month, but the Midwest, the South, and the West fell compared to the previous month. Also, all four U.S. major regions here posted a decrease compared to 1 year ago. And that is this right here. The index, which is an index which measures contracts being signed between buyers and sellers of existing houses, so more or less excluding brand new home construction, fell to 71.4. These numbers, by the way, are seasonally adjusted and also annualized as well. So that's a decrease of 1.5%. which is not as bad because the street's forecast was calling for a 2% decrease. Now it fell by 1.5%. Also, compared to 1 year ago, the index fell by 8.5%. The biggest decreases were actually in the West, both on a month-to-month as well as compared to 12 months ago. And again, all four major regions posted decreases compared to 12 months ago. The only gain we saw was on a month-to-month basis in the Northeast, up by 2.7%. So getting back to this report from NAR, it says their index is a forward-looking indicator of home sales based on contracts being signed. So therefore, of course, when a home buyer gets their offer accepted, more or less it takes approximately 30 to 60 days in order for them to officially become owners of those houses. So this is very much a forward-looking or a leading indication of our U.S. housing market, which I'll share some insights regarding that here in a little bit. So in any case, let's get a little bit nerdy here because here's my fun Excel spreadsheet I made regarding the changes in their pending home sale index according to NAR. These two columns is what I pulled from their website. Everything else I added. So again, their index is at 71.4, a decrease of 8.5% compared to 1 year ago when the index was at 78. This means, of course, we're at all-time record highs dating back all the way until 2001. Therefore, the level of pending home sales is worse than the Great Recession. Just absolutely insane. One thing I want to mention is this right here. Their index on a year-over-year basis has now decreased for 29 consecutive months. The last time it posted a gain was way back in May of 2021. Also, October's year-over-year change is much worse than historical averages. So for example, by my dumb math right here, which is right there, the average change in October compared to the previous October going back to 2010 is a decrease of 1.5%, whereas this year it fell by 8.5%. So much worse than historical averages. And of course, we're at all-time record highs on top of that. So looking at the change compared to 1 month ago, it decreased by 1.5%. As a note right there, for comparison's sake, the index fell by 4.4% from September 2022 through October 2022. That was the month-to-month change 1 year ago. It fell by 4.4%, as you can see right here. Therefore, the market was falling much faster at this time last year compared to this year, because last year it was down by 4.4%. Now it's down by 1.5%. Something I noted here as well, the same thing happened back in September. So in September this year, it fell, that's compared to August, it fell by 1%. Whereas last September, it decreased a whopping 7.6%. So the housing market was falling much faster in September and October compared to this September and October. But of course, having said that, we're still at all-time record lows for pending home sales. Now, here's something else I found to be really interesting as well regarding the difference between last year and this year. Sorry, I just hit my microphone there. So in November of 2021 through October of 2022, that was a 12-month period there. That was actually that actually marked the 12th consecutive month of month-to-month decreases. It fell on a month-to-month basis from November 2021 through October of 2022. Compare that to the same time frame this last 12 months. That is in November 2022 through October this year. It only decreased on a month-to-month basis for 6 times. So therefore, I think it's quite evident that the market was falling much faster at this time last year, which is one of the main reasons why we had a fairly big correction that we saw last year. I also did some digging for you guys as well, because I actually want to look at what's the average September through October change going back to 2010. The average is an increase of 0.9%. Historically speaking, this month it fell by 1.5%. So again, we're at all-time record lows, but also the year-over-year change as well as the month-to-month change is much worse than historical averages as well. On top of that, when look at their index compared to pre-COVID levels, compared to October 2019, it's down by 32% and down by 30% from 2018. Something I want to bring to your attention, because there seems to be some confusion regarding the resale market, which is existing houses, versus brand new home construction. Basically night and day difference regarding the trends we're seeing right now, which is kind of creating some confusion here. So hopefully I can clarify here. So number one, pending home sales of existing houses are counted the same way as sales of brand new home construction, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. So again, when looking at sales of brand new home construction, that is measured by the Census Bureau as a deposit taken or a sales agreement signed between a buyer and a home builder. Therefore, sales of new houses is virtually the same as a pending home sale of an existing house. I mentioned that because right here in October, pending home sales of existing houses, of course, decreased by 8.5% compared to October of 2022, which I just shared with you guys. In contrast, for sales of brand new home construction, that actually increased a whopping 17.7% during that same time frame. So therefore, we have two entirely different housing markets. In the resale market, which is existing houses, we have a low amount of sales, more or less at a 13-year low regarding the current sales pace for existing home sales. That is actually closed home sales, not pending home sales. Anyways, we have a low amount of sales and low inventory levels as well. Compare that to new home construction, sales are on par with pre-COVID levels, but we still have a high level in the amount of houses actually for sale. Also, according to the NAHB, which is the National Association of Home Builders, they noted just a few days ago here that of total inventory, which includes brand new home construction plus existing sales, newly built houses make up about 30% of all single-family houses available for sale in October, compared to a 12% historical average. So a glut of inventory for new houses and a very big decrease compared to the resale market. Also, number 4 here, new home sales have been rising due to builders lowering prices and of course offering to buy down rates for home buyers. Of course, they're also benefiting from the anemic supply in the resale market of existing houses, down by about 30 to 35% compared to pre-COVID levels. Okay, let's get back to this report from NAR here, because according to their chief economist, who is Lawrence Yum, he stated the following. During October, which is this month I'm reporting on regarding pending home sales, during October, rates were at the highest and contract signings for existing houses were at the lowest levels in more than 20 years. So, go figure, when we have 23-year highs for mortgage rates, of course, we're going to see a huge pullback of contracts being signed between buyers and sellers. recent weeks' successive decreases in rates. In other words, we've been seeing a significant decrease in mortgage rates ever since really the end of October of this year. So according to him, that will help qualify more home buyers, but limited housing inventory is significantly preventing housing demand from fully being satisfied. So let's first talk about an update from Freddie Mac. According to them, on November 30th, which was on Thursday, which is today at the time of filming this video here, the average 30-year fixed rate for people with great credit decreased to 7.22%. By the way, the previous week was at 7.29%. Also, 1 year ago, we're at 6.49%. Something worth noting here as well is that the drop from the peak, which was set back in late October, according to Freddie Mac, back in late October, the average rate was at 7.79%, the highest rates we've had going back to the year of 2000. So a 23-year high in rates in late October, which of course really caused a huge pullback in home sales, of course, right? But that translates into a $125 per month savings because rates decreased from about 7.8%. Now they're at 7.22%. So someone looking to buy a house using a $400,000 mortgage loan, you're going to save approximately $125 per month because rates decrease over the past 1 month. Also, here's what Sam Cater, who's Freddie Mac's chief economist, here's what he had to say as well regarding the decrease in rates here. It says the current trajectory of rates is an encouraging development for potential home buyers. Something I will add here is that when rates decrease, this is really a double sword or double-edged sword for home buyers. So if you're actually looking to buy a house right now, it's of course encouraging to see that rates have fallen by nearly 1 percentage point ever since late October this year. Because of course, if you get your offer accepted tomorrow, your rate is going to be much lower now compared to what it was about 1 month ago. But in the long term though, if rates were to decrease further, this actually causes an increase in home buying demand. And what happens when there's more buyers in the market? That causes home prices to increase further, which of course makes housing affordability a bigger issue. I mentioned that because this is something you guys should be aware of because right now we're in an environment in which rates are going down. And again, when rates go down, that increases competition and causes further issues for home buyers, unfortunately. Now, speaking of rates, let's have a look at the daily rate as of Thursday, according to the Mortgage News Daily, which is at 7.15%, a slight increase compared to yesterday's 7.13%, which, by the way, that was a 3-month low, the lowest level since approximately the beginning of September this year. Also, for a 30-year fixed FHA or VA loan, you're looking at around 6.52%. 1 year ago, the average daily rate for people with great credit, of course, was at 6.63%. That's an increase of about a half of a point or 52 basis points. Also, compare this to Investopedia.com. As of today, the 30-year fixed rate for people with good credit was at 7.52%. Like I mentioned in my previous video, one of the reasons why Investopedia.com has higher rates is due to this right here. They look at people with a FICO score or a credit score in the range of 700 to 760. In general, to get the best rate, you need your FICO score above 740. Now, speaking of that, when just doing a Google search right now, the average rate is at 7.56% for a FICO score in the range of 740 to 759. When we decrease this down to 700 to 719, it increases to nearly 8%. And when we decrease this to 680, it increases to 8.4%. So again, it all depends on your FICO score, what your rate you'll be quoted by your lender. With that said, thank you so much for joining me in today's video. Also, if you guys want a real estate agent referral, check out that link below, which is my new website, realestateteamfinder.com. Just enter your information and I'll personally reach out to you to learn about your real estate goals so I can best match you with a great real estate agent in an area you're looking to buy or sell nationwide. With that said, thank you so much for joining me in today's video. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.